Hello guys, in this video I'm going to teach you what is C++ exceptions and how you can use exception handling in C++. So first of all, what is an exception? An exception is a situation or a unwanted situation which can arise during the execution of your program, and you can use exception handling techniques which is provided by C++ to handle those exceptions. For example, I want the age of some person, and I am allowing the user to enter the age, and by mistake he enters, instead of any number or integer, he enters any character or any string instead of integer as an age, and this is unacceptable, and you need to handle those situations in C++. And exception handling in C++ provide handling of those situations. So for how you can use exception handling in C++, let's see the prototype. So you use try and then give these curly braces and then give a catch blocks. So first of all, I will show you the basic syntax. So you just try your code and then catch the exception. Catch. And in here you can catch exceptions. So this is the basic prototype of your exception handling in C++. This try block, in this you try your code. Okay, so as the name suggests, you are trying your code, and if it throws any exception, it is catched by this block called catch and in these curly braces. Okay, now for example, you want to throw some exception intentionally. So let's take an example. For example, I want the user to input any age, so I will just write std cout, and I want the user to input any value. So I will say please enter age. Okay, and then I will just end this line, and then I can check this age. This age if this age is greater than, so I will just ask the user, I will define a variable int age is equal to 0. I will initialize this age, and then I will ask the user to enter age. So I will say std cin for taking the input, and then I will take the input as an age, right? And if this age is greater than 100, okay, so I'm checking the condition. If this age is greater than, for example, 100, this is not an human age, I will consider. This is my condition to check any exception. Or this age, so I will say or this age is less than 0, then also this cannot be an age, so I can throw an exception. So how you throw an exception? Just use a keyword throw, and this is like throw, and then you throw a number or integer. For example, throw 99 or 100, right? To this is user defined integer, I must say. Okay, now if this uh, program throws, you need to catch this in this catch block. So what you can do, you can just define int as an argument of catch, int e, and you can just print that some exception occurred, some exception occurred, and you can give the even the number of the exception. Okay, so how you can give the number of the exception? You can just say uh, error number is equal to, and then just give e here because we have defined e as an argument here, right? Now I'm just trying to compile, and I will just try to run the program, and I will see what it gives. So I will enter any age. For example, it's greater than 100, 109, and it gives an exception. Some exception occurred. An exception number is 100 because we are throwing 100 when the exception condition occurs, right? In a similar way, I can throw any character also. So for example, I want to throw an character. I can just throw, for example, a as an exception, right? And in here, then I need to define character as an argument. And then once again, when I run the program, first I need to compile this, and then I will run this. And this time I will enter any minus value, -9, for example. And it gives me exception. Some exception occurs. Error number is a this time because we are throwing a character this time, right? Or you can use a standard exception class from C++, which is used to handle any exception, standard exceptions, we must say. So this you can use by using std in your catch argument, std exception. Okay, and then you can catch the exception. So I will compile my program, and this e will give the error because this class expect e dot, there is a function, member function in exception class called what to show the exception. Okay, so I compiled it and I run it, and this time I will enter 200 as an age, and it gives me the error that it has thrown an exception. Okay, so there is a library called standard exception you can use to catch the exceptions. But for that, I almost forgot, you need to include exception library for that. So you just need to add this library called include exceptions, and this is for the C++ exception which is used to handle exceptions, right? Now for example, you don't know what kind of exception is coming, or you don't know the type of exception which can occur in C++. So you can define multiple exception handling, for example int e here, or and you can just use this catch multiple times after your try block. So this is my try block. This is one kind of exception handling. You can do multiple kind of exception handling like this. So you can use char e, or you can even use undefined exception, which catches any exception, and which is catch with as an argument 3 dots, and catch as an, and these 3 dot means that it's any exception which occurs can be cached by this. Okay, and always remember this catch with 3 dots always comes at the end of your try catch exception block. So you always catch the known exception, and then in the case when the exception is not known, you use this. So always add this catch with these 3 blocks at the end of your try and catch block. Okay, and I can run the program once again, and it's showing an error which is okay because I'm not using standard exception. E dot what is not required here, and I will compile my program. And yeah, because in this there is no exception, right? We are not passing any argument here. And I will run it once again, 122. It will catch the exception. So just notice that it has catch which exception. So for example, error number, exception occur, messages like this, or error, instead, because we are catching character here, we can say error char, okay, or here we can say unknown exception, unknown exception, right? And now when I run the program, compile it and run it, and for example I give any string value, and it handles this exception by coming out of the block here. And for example I run this and I will give any character, and why it's not printing anything? Okay, I need to give the age first, right? Yeah, 1000, and it catches the exception right like this. Now there are some exception which you don't even know, so this is the user defined throw. Some exception which can occur at runtime and you don't even know which kind of exceptions are those, so you don't use throw in that case. You can just add this try and catch block, and if any exception occurs, those are catched by this. So it's not necessary that you need to throw the exception. The C++ library will handle your exceptions and catch if any exception occurs using these catch block also. So in this way you can handle exceptions in C++. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.